Guys, so welcome back to Faith My Friday. This episode is actually about a murder-suicide that happened at Harvard University. I didn't think that Harvard would be a place where a murder would have happened. The only murders that I've ever heard about that happened at universities was that time when Ted Bundy broke into a Florida university and killed those girls, and obviously the Virginia Tech shooting that happened back in I think 2007. So this obviously caught me off guard because not only was it Harvard, but Harvard is like an Ivy League school. I would have thought they would have like top-notch security as much as we pay to attend here, but apparently not. So yeah, so this is definitely an interesting one. So let's just go ahead and get started. And so our story starts with our victim, Trang Ho. She came to Cambridge, Massachusetts when she was 21 because that's where Harvard is. Her family had left South Vietnam when the North took over 2 decades ago, because this is back during like the Vietnam War and stuff. And so her dad was in the Southern Army and tried to leave when she was a baby, but she fell overboard. So they were like, you know what, we're just gonna wait till she's like a little bit older to like try again. So they tried again when she was like 10. She apparently left her mother and her sister behind, but they cut her hair to make her look like a boy. So I guess I want to say the reason they cut her hair to make her look like a boy was so that it'd be easier for her to pass. I don't know if it was a gender thing or just, but yeah. So hair was cut like a boy. So they were on this ship for a week, but they couldn't sit because due to the lack of room because there was just so many people. And so they were attacked by pirates, apparently actual pirates, and they made it to Indonesia. So they stayed there for a year learning English and like other stuff so they could easier get accustomed to like the United States, where obviously you have to know a decent amount of English to get by. It originally were in San Diego, but moved to Massachusetts because there were better colleges there. Trang Ho did not let her past, like, define her, luckily. And so there was one time where she needed help with her homework, and so she called 911 to get help with it because her dad couldn't speak a lot of English. And so there was an officer who actually called back and said he would help her, and I guess it was assumed that he did actually help her. She even contacted the Senator Kennedy, which I don't know if that was Bobby or John, but one of the Kennedys, to see if she can get her mom and sister over to America. Obviously he personally couldn't do anything about it, but they were reunited just in time for her senior year of high school. She graduated valedictorian and got a full ride to Harvard. You know, like, with most colleges, you gotta write an essay as to, like, why you should be admitted and all that good stuff. Her essay was on being one of the, boat people and hopefully making a difference despite that, and still being proud of where she came from, and how she will be grateful for the opportunities she'll get, but she will never forget where she came from. As you shouldn't. So also they really liked that, and they accepted her. So then she wrote her. So then while in college, she was working 2 jobs to help with the family, and then she would visit them every weekend to help with documents they can understand, because apparently out of the 4 of them, she spoke English the best. So by default, she kind of had to help with everything. She was also tutoring other refugees because she wasn't the only one in Vietnam. From Vietnam to America, she also wasn't the only one for a boat to be that full. So she was helping other people on top of that. Her parents started going through a separation due to the long time being apart because, again, they were separated a good 7-8 years. So, yeah. And so, apparently the spark that was there at one point wasn't there anymore, and the mother had allegedly claimed she was being abused by the father, so she went to a battered women's shelter. Trang went to go to medical school, but her parents divorced, and even got a restraining order, so then the dad had to go back to San Diego, not knowing a lot of English. Trang took over being the head of household because of this, taking all the responsibility. So not only is she going to an Ivy League college on a full scholarship, she also is taking 2 jobs, tutoring other people, and now she gotta be the head of the household. So here comes in another woman. Her name is Sinedu Tadesse. She was her roommate at the point and had also wanted to go to medical school. However, she had came from Ethiopia, so they thought they were perfect in room together, because who else perfect in room with than with someone who was an immigrant just like you, so they will properly understand your struggle. Sinedu apparently was born September 25th, 1975. She came from a well-off family in Ethiopia, so they were wealthy, and her father was jailed for 2 years because they were targeted due to their poverty and famine in the country that apparently killed over 1 million people. So basically, because they were rich, they were targeted, and he had to go to jail when there was poverty and famine going on.
Bullshit.
Emotional damage!
Sinedu, luckily, she focused on her school, which she felt was the only way to leave the country. Because again, this this is not a first world country, so you gotta understand where she's coming from. And so girls from her country were taught to be happy but also responsible at the same time. She graduated valedictorian just like Trang, but she was chosen one out of 6 girls from the high school due to her grades. She also got a full scholarship to Harvard, and she wanted to go back to Ethiopia after getting her medical degree, becoming a doctor, because she wanted, due to the lack of doctors in her country. Even though doctors were only getting paid probably like $100 a year, which to them in their country apparently is worth a lot of money. I don't know if that's $100 in our currency or theirs, but apparently that's a lot over there. So, obviously, due to Harvard being an Ivy League college, she found it a lot harder, and there was a lot of pressure than it was in high school. She kept a B average, but she needed like a near perfect, if not perfect GPA. She wanted to get into the Harvard Medical School. Since no one was telling her that she was doing well like they had back in high school, so I guess they were telling her she was doing well a lot in high school, she felt like a failure. It was later revealed that she was in therapy through the school, because Harvard had a little program or whatever. She was a loner and ate alone and had few friends. Letters that were found to be written by Sinedu to other students, to which she would random select out of the phone book, I guess like the local phone book, and to see if she could make any friends. She even had a book called My Book of Social Rules, where she gave herself an assignment to make friends and treat it like another class. Out of all the letters she sent, only one person responded to her, to which obviously she replied back because she was happy someone replied to her, to which they never replied to her.
Emotional damage!
There was even a person who didn't respond but did have it, like, gave it to the dean, who filed it away.
Really, nigga?
She had a roommate freshman year who moved on to a different roommate, so she had to find someone else, which is where Trang comes in. Her diary entries do get more upbeat, like more happy when she does meet Trang, so that's nice. It was both their third year, and they roomed together for 2 years, so I assume sophomore and junior year. Trang had actually been chosen for Boston Magazine to be one of 25 people which were seen to be able to make a difference, which caused her, despite being a freshman, to have gained a lot of attention. And so, however, that would never happen because of May 28th, 1995, and so Trang had finished her exams and was getting ready for summer and had slept that night. Police were called, and they went to Trang's room, where she was found stabbed 45 times on the ground.
Damn!
Police also tried to piece the last days of her life together and went back 2 days when she was studying finals with her best friend, who was a teacher.
Wait a damn minute. Wait a damn.
Just for reference, the teacher is a female and she's also an immigrant, so obviously they bonded over having to come over to America for a better life. So, just for context. The teacher was a 26-year-old female who came to the States a couple years back, just like Trang did, and Trang was actually the first friend that she had made here in the States. Theo helped Trang pack for summer vacation, and Trang had to get out to study at 10 a.m. Study for the exams, and she returned about 2 hours later, so like noon. She talked to Theo about the test, and then came back again about 5 to 6 p.m. when she was done with classes for the day. Theo, because I guess she had nothing else better to do, or her classes finals were already taken or something, so they were waiting for her in the room the entire time so they can go celebrate together. They went to a mutual friend's house to go watch movies until 2 a.m. They came back to the dorm room and woke up at 8 a.m. due to an alarm that Sinedu had so that she could get ready for the day. The bathroom they had was in Trang's room, so that she had to go through Trang's room to get to the bathroom. They decided to go back to sleep after hearing the shower running, because they were like, that alarm is not for us, so we're gonna go back to sleep, as they should. Only hours later, Trang would be found dead. And shortly after Trang was found dead, they found Sinedu in the bathroom hanging from the shower. So then, of course, how did the police get involved? Of course, again, Theo was there. So Theo was the one who got the police thanks to running out of the room. And she was trying to bang on doors. But again, it's like 8 a.m. We just finished exams. If they were anything like Trang was, they was probably out late celebrating too. Because we just finished the exams. So they were probably sleepy and they wasn't trying to answer no door. Apparently, the people whose door she did bang on, they said that she might have been drunk. And that's why they did not open the door for her. Because they didn't know. And so Theo goes up to this one student who who was like eating breakfast. Apparently it was a male eating breakfast, but they were in a female dorm. The dude thought she was drunk, which understandably, because apparently it was common to get drunk after exams, apparently. And so he then saw blood, to which he thought that she had tried to commit suicide, which is reasonable because apparently she had a decent amount of blood on her. I don't know how much blood this woman had on her to think she was trying to kill herself, but he thought she was trying to commit suicide. And they got police who went to the room and had to push a desk that was in the way because apparently when she left the room, it locked from the inside. So she couldn't get back in because she did not have a student key to get back into that room. So somehow the police got into that room. So then they found the bodies of Trang on the ground and Sinedu hanging in the shower. Sinedu actually did take the shower because remember the shower water was running, so she actually did take the shower. However, after the shower finished, Trang had started making noises, which it obviously caused Theo to wake up, trying to figure out, what the hell is that noise. She wakes up, sees Sinedu standing over Trang, stabbing her repeatedly with no expression in her eyes, just like a blank stare. And Sinedu tried to fight back, even Theo too, because that's her best friend, And so, but Sinedu attacked her too, but obviously Theo survived, thank God. But she managed to get to the door to where she left. Remember, it had locked on the inside, so she couldn't get back. Sinedu's diary entries had clued that something might happen. Sinedu was usually clean, but was leaving out rotten food and not giving Trang's calls which were left to her and started becoming clingy to her, but Trang didn't have enough time. Because remember, head of the household, 2 jobs, a student at an Ivy League university, and tutoring other kids, and they had exams coming up. Yeah, of course Trang did not have enough time. And so what ended up being the motive for the murder was that Trang had mentioned that she was going to be staying with other friends so that Sinedu would have to find another roommate. And so Sinedu obviously begged her to stay because Trang was one of the few friends that Sinedu had.
Please. Please. Please.
Sinedu wrote a letter to Trang saying that Trang will always have her family, but Sinedu herself will have no one, so she wanted to come back to just call her. By the way, Sinedu had family apparently in the nearby area, but also most of them in Ethiopia, and she never, in those 3 years, apparently. So, but there was family nearby, so she had people. She just, I guess, was trying to guilt trip Trang.
Oh my god! Wow!
So then Trang wasn't taken, and Trang didn't change her mind. She wrote back. She actually wrote back instead of telling her to her face, "I was disrespectful because I let you know in advance. If I didn't care about your feelings, I would just went ahead, did it, and went on about my life. But obviously I care about you. I consider us friends. I told you in advance. I hope that we could put this behind us and we could still be friends like the mature person that Trang was." And so Sinedu was obviously being salty and stopped talking to her despite being roommates. So pretty awkward because Trang would have to go through Sinedu's room to get to the front door, but Sinedu would have to go through Trang's room to get to the bathroom. So making it nearly impossible to avoid each other. 2 weeks prior, apparently, Sinedu had sent her school computer to a cousin, bought 2 knives, a rope, and called her brother, who apparently is named Ned. A week later, she had a lunch date with her brother looking different. She had makeup, high heels, and shorts. Shorts were apparently seen as disrespectful in Ethiopian culture, but she was happy, so her brother didn't think much of it. She didn't show up for finals and had medical excuses as to why, but she was seen in the library during alleged finals.
Gotcha, bitch!
School newspaper, which is the Harvard Crimson, apparently, they had gotten a note with a picture of Sinedu. Not what she looked like currently, but it was a picture of her, like, all dolled up from, like, her high school days. It was saying that keep this picture and that something big was going to happen involving her. And so they ended up throwing it away because they didn't think nothing of it. They thought it was just going to be some messy rumors or something. After the murder-suicide, the police got it. They ended up using that same photo that she submitted in to them.
Really, nigga?
So if you search her up, that's the photo that you will see of her. That glammed up photo from her in high school. Sinedu apparently went to a weight room, which wasn't actually usual for her, and even talked to her brother on the phone around 7 p.m. the night before. And again, he claimed nothing was concerning, that she seemed happy. Obviously, fast forward this point afterwards, because she's now dead and there's no note explaining why, there are only theories involving the motive of the murder. Sinedu herself had even wanted to room with someone else the following year.
Oh my god! Wow!
So they weren't sure if the roommate situation was a valid reason, was a valid motive for murder. Some people even believe that Sinedu had somehow gotten under an evil spell.
Evil!
Like an evil spell had been put on her, but others believe that she was just depressed and wasn't friends. Trang's funeral was apparently held like September of that year. This happened late May, so that's that good gap. That's the whole summer gap. Her father was obviously upset because he had said he had worked so hard to get over here so they could have a better life, his kids could have a better life, and now he had to bury his daughter instead of his daughter having to bury him. So obviously he's hurt. Trang's family tried to sue Harvard for wrongful death, pain, suffering, and emotional distress. Sinedu, because remember, Sinedu's dead too. Sinedu ended up getting buried on her tombstone with a terrible accident happened while studying at Harvard.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
So, yeah, admitted, yes, she was at Harvard, but we're not going to... I guess her family did not want to say that, our child committed murder, which obviously I would not want to admit that either. Apparently, okay, this part gets kind of fuzzy. Apparently, there were 2 other students that committed suicide that year. I've had one source say they committed suicide before this happened, and then I had another one that says they committed suicide later that year, like the following school year. But either way, we've had 3 suicides and 1 murder within 1 year. Obviously, that's not good. So then Harvard starts receiving a lot of backlash regarding the students. Like, do you actually care? Well-being of these kids? Or, what are your intentions? And so then a scholarship was put in Trang's name. Originally, they were going to do a scholarship in both their names, but Harvard, thank God, saw it as distasteful if we were to put a scholarship in you were to search up this person and find out they killed somebody and Harvard got a whole scholarship in their name, it was going to be seen as distasteful, if that makes sense. So that's why there's only a scholarship in Trang's name and not Sinedu's. A book was made 2 years later about a Harvard student named Melody. Melody knew Sinedu because she was a teacher for a writing class, which Sinedu was in, which she applied to but didn't get in. And so obviously Harvard, when asked about it, they claimed that Sinedu claimed that she never needed help, which obviously we know that was a lie.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my god, stop you fucking lying.
We know from her journal entries that was a lie. We don't know from the therapist whether or not that was a lie. So basically, that's the start. That is the murder of Trang Ho and Sinedu Tadesse. Again, I'm shocked that a murder happened at Harvard, but I guess murder could happen anywhere, especially a contradiction. Yes, I do believe that education is important, for sure. However, I also believe that your mental health is even more important. And for anyone that doesn't believe that, you can go yeah, so that's all I gotta say for that. And that's it for the case of the Harvard murder-suicide. And I will see you fatal females next time.